The Spurs and Minnesota Timberwolves get things going again for Game 3 out in Minnesota. Let's preview the game and send a PSA to Spurs fans to party responsibly. Welcome back to Spurs in Focus right here on YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, Pocket Cast, Amazon Podcast. The list goes on and on. Go subscribe right now. No reason for you to not find Spurs in Focus and do what you got to do. That is subscribe, as well as subscribe to the Spurs in Focus Substack. Just Google Spurs in Focus Substack and you're in. Hit subscribe, completely free. You'll be part of the crew. And as always, thank you again for coming here to Spurs in Focus. You're your first and only spot for all things San Antonio Spurs. And my name is Jeff Garcia, a longtime Spurs writer in San Antonio. First of all, apologies for audio only today. Our guest had some technical issues. Unfortunately, video was not an option. So I said, I'll join you and I'll do an audio show with you. But nevertheless, we're here. So all that matters is Silver and Black talk, previewing tonight's Game 3 out in Minnesota, the adjustments, the player that needs to step up, predictions, so much more. And Spurs fans, I know it's a fun time every time the Spurs win, but you got to act responsibly. More on that in just a few minutes. It's going to bring in our guest, Mr. Rudy Campos of The Sports Answer. He is on X at The Sports Answer. He always parties responsibly, although he's the legend for doing an entire gallon of vodka in one sitting, and he chugged it. Good job.
Well, thank you. It wasn't vodka, it was actually tequila. That's my fifth of choice. So, but yeah, you gotta party responsible, but nonetheless, I apologize to the fans out there who love seeing my ugly, smug face on video, but I'm in the midst of a power outage right now, so I can only do audio right now, man.
Not a problem. I'll just to be in solidarity with Rudy, I said, you know what? If you're gonna do audio, I'll do audio with you. Not a problem, buddy. We'll do it like that. But hey, we got some cool news about the Sports Answer for today's show.
Yeah.
And so much more. We'll get into that in just a few minutes. Rudy's outside, and if you're in Texas right now, for some freaking reason, it's a little chilly. So we want to get him inside ASAP. Yeah, chilly, cold weather in Texas in May usually doesn't go together, but this time it does. All right, Rudy, let's go ahead and dive into it here. Spurs-Wolves get things going again tonight in Minnesota for Game 3. Another late night game, everybody. 8:30 start here in Texas, so be ready to stay up late. Good thing it's a Friday night. Nobody's going to work the next day, so there's that. But nevertheless, first game on the road, semifinals. Rudy, your overall thoughts before we get into our adjustments.
Overall thought process is everybody knows how Game 3 is important. Obviously, the percentages work on the favor of the team that wins Game 3.
Absolutely.
I don't really buy it so much, kind of like we talked about on our post-game react. Game 3 is important, but I feel like if the Spurs can get either one of these games, then obviously Game 5 is the game that, turns the tide. But as far as Game 3 goes, I mean, yes, it is an important game. You want to continue to capitalize on the momentum that you had from Game 2. I mean, that massive victory against the Timberwolves, which I'm not going to lie, a lot of people in media are downplaying it, saying, oh, they just had an off night. It was an off night. No, I mean, again, if you look at all the stats, everything was close. So both teams were close with the exception of fast break points and a couple of other categories. I mean, the Spurs just beat Minnesota. So, one thing you got to keep in mind too is that the Spurs got to continue to play that physical defense. They got to be able to get into Ant's face, make it tough for him. He's not 100%. So again, I love the way Mitch Johnson was picking up Ant at half court. He was also double teaming Ant as well. So that looked like it worked. Minnesota did not have an answer for that. And then since they didn't have an answer for it, guess what? Continue to do it. There's no more Ayo Dosunmu. He's going to be out, I'm sure, for tonight's game. So yeah, Minnesota's hurting right now. He's got to keep your foot on the gas and just keep on chugging.
It's a good point there. Before we continue, just a quick injury report for the Spurs. Good to go. Nobody was on the IR report. Spurs are coming in at full guns blazing here. For the Minnesota Timberwolves, Anthony Edwards and Ayo Dosunmu both are questionable as of this recording. So there it is. But yeah, overall thoughts. Look, the Spurs, as the kids say, put the belt to the ass in Game 2. They did. They just wrecked Minnesota. Now, One thing I did observe, though, is Minnesota didn't act like the sky was falling after the game. They were pretty calm, cool, collected, and I guess that is the right approach after you just got a beat down in game two. But I'm expecting them to have a nice bounce back game. They got their home crowd behind them. More on that later. They are looking like they want to take the lead in this series. And brings me to my observation for tonight's game is, hey, I think this is a must win for Minnesota. First of all, they still have home court advantage. They stole that, so they got it. If you lose it, you give that advantage back to San Antonio. Second of all, you would have lost to the Spurs twice in a row, giving San Antonio more fuel to think like, hey, we can handle this Minnesota team. This Minnesota team has gone to the conference finals back-to-back years. So I think that's the last thing this Minnesota team wants to do. The Spurs are in control. In my opinion, the Spurs are in control of the series. All the pressure is on Minnesota tonight to get the win on their home court. Rudy, I look at this game three, and I think it's almost. What do you think? Do you think it's more crucial for the Wolves to win or for the Spurs to win?
You know, I'm listening to you right now, and I should understand the Minnesota part, but I'm gonna kind of turn it around. I think this is a crucial win for the Spurs to get in game three. Reason being is because, again, you barely lost game one by 2 points because Victor and De'Aaron Fox had off nights. That's the reason why you lost. You came out and you smacked Minnesota. I think the Spurs need to continue that momentum. Game three for me is important to San Antonio because, again, if you go down 2-1 to Minnesota, in Minnesota, you have game four coming up, still over in Minnesota. So that kind of fuels Minnesota into thinking they can get game four, making it a 3-1 series coming back to San Antonio. This is the thing for the Spurs. They've got to continue. So I'm going to go the opposite and say this is a must win for San Antonio in game three. Keep the momentum going. Keep that, like I said, keep the momentum, keep the defense going for San Antonio. If they can get this win, not only will they take command of the series, I think they deflate any opportunity they will burst Minnesota's bubble quicker than we can even imagine.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, not to say they may not have done that already after the lopsided win the Spurs got in game two. What was it, 133-95? I mean, it was just destruction from the jump, basically.
But we don't know. That's the thing is we don't know if it was, yes, we know it was a lopsided victory, Jeff, but we don't know how bad it mentally hurt Minnesota. Maybe it didn't hurt them as bad. I mean,
yeah.
Like I said,
well, they were definitely acting like it didn't.
Yeah, because they already went into San Antonio and got one game. That's all they needed to do was get one game.
Yeah, and they definitely did that in game one. Narrowly beat the Spurs. Spurs should have won that game. Really, in my opinion, this should be 2-0 right now. Spurs favor, not 1-1 split. We're talking with Rudy Campos of The Sports Answer. He is on X at The Sports Answer. More on that later. Rudy, let's go ahead and dive into it now. Let's look at game three more in depth here. And let's start off with our game three adjustments. All right, Rudy, I'll kick things off here, and I'll share with you my three adjustments that I got for San Antonio. Starts off number one, same thing as the last. Why try to fix something that's not broken? You figured out a lot of things. You were knocking down the shots. The offensive was issue in game one. You got contributions from your two stars from the beginning with Wemby and Fox. Fox actually made an appearance, and he played very well in game two. Overall, you don't want to fix something that's not broken. Just continue that same mentality you did in game two. Carry that over to game three. Key number two for me is watch out, Castle, for those fouls. Castle continues to show foul trouble against the Wolves. He needs to correct that because although they have depth at that position with Harper and Fox, and those two guys are playing solid, you cannot lose Castle for extended periods of time due to foul trouble. So I like to see Castle kind of minimize that. He's averaging right now literally 5 fouls a game in this 2-game series so far. That's not good. And number three, weather the road crowd storm. You know that crowd is going to be loud, Spurs. You know that crowd is going to be booing and hissing and on their feet. They're going to be cheering for the Wolves. You need to weather the storm. There's a storm coming, as Catwoman said in The Dark Knight Rises. There's a storm brewing, Mr. Wayne. Yeah, same thing here. There's a storm brewing, Spurs, and it's in Minnesota. Those are my game three adjustments. Your reaction, and what are your adjustments?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, don't fix what's not broken. That's a very good one. Again, the Spurs basically did in game one. They did it again in game two. They led every statistical category pretty much. So do not fix it. Whatever they're doing is right. You just had a bad game between Victor and Fox. That's the reason why game one went to Minnesota. Something we kind of harp on for the last couple of games. He's a very important, vital piece of this Spurs team. He needs to be on the court at all times. 5 fouls a game. I mean, and that's what he's averaged. A lot of them in the first half as well. So you got to keep him on the court. He's got to be able to stay on the court and, basically make a huge difference for that team. The other one that you mentioned with the weather storm, kind of similar to what I wanted to get into, because that crowd's going to be ruckus, man. You think San Antonio's crowd's ruckus, especially when they do the Fiesta themed shirts?
Yep.
Minnesota's going to be just as crazy. So I like those three. Let me add a couple more here for you. First things first, they've got to, the way I'm going to put it is like this. They have to expect the bad calls and do not get riled up over them. You're going into Minnesota. They're going to get more favorable calls than San Antonio. Let's be honest. It's a home court advantage type thing. Those bad calls, you do not want to get those calls and let it rattle your head. Don't let them rattle the momentum. Expect to get a few bad calls. It's going to be a hostile environment. The refs are going to probably lean a certain way. So don't play into the refs. Just continue to play your game. Last thing is you've got to continue to get that bench. That bench came alive in the last game with Dylan Harper, Keldon Johnson. These guys, Luke Cornett played 13 minutes, 5 more minutes than what he did the first game. The bench has to continue to out-duel Minnesota's bench. It makes a huge difference when our bench basically outscores and outplays Minnesota's bench. Those are my 2 additional adjustments there. I've gave you all these, Jeff. There's no reason why the Spurs don't walk away with at least another double-digit win.
Absolutely. All right, we're not done previewing tonight's Game 3 Spurs-Wolves. When we get back, we're going to get into which player we need to see step up, give our predictions, and so much more, including we're going to hear from Steph Castle right after the break.
Subscribe to Spurs in Focus. Resistance is futile.
All right, we are back right here on Spurs in Focus, joined by my good friend and Mr. Rudy Campos of The Sports Answer. And follow him on X at The Sports Answer. More of that later. Hey, before we continue our preview, let's hear from Steph Castle. What do you have to say after Game 2?
Related to the aggression, Steph, even when you weren't getting calls early on or when they were making good defense plays, you guys just kept going at them. How big a part of the game plan is that for you guys to just, no matter what's going on, keep attacking them there in the paint?
Yeah, I wouldn't say that's more of a game plan for them. I just think that's who we are offensively, just staying aggressive, throughout the whole 48 minutes and trying to play with pace. So, if we can touch the paint at any time in a possession, we're going to try to do that, whether we're trying to create a shot for ourselves or our teammates. So, whether we're getting the calls early or not, I don't think we can change our aggressiveness because that's just who we are.
Absolutely. That was Steph Castle, courtesy of the San Antonio Spurs. Before we continue with the preview, what do you think about that? The aggressive. He kept on saying that, continue the aggressive, continue the aggressive. It seems like that was lacking for the Spurs in Game 1. The Wolves had it in Game 1. And now the Spurs just punched back figuratively in Game 2 with the aggressive side of things. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree with it. It showed, I think it was 58-36 on the points in the paint this last Game 2. So I agree with Steph Castle. They've got to be aggressive. They got to attack the basket. There's no reason to be afraid of Rudy Gobert. I know he's a, defensive player of the year, multi-defense player of the year. No reason to be afraid of him when you have an additional 7'5" guy right next to you on your team that can score on Rudy and make it easy for you as well. So continue to attack the basket. And not only that, what he's also kind of hitting on is when Minnesota would score, the Spurs were right back down the court, getting to the basket again. They were running the Timberwolves out of the gym. So I agree with everything what Steph Castle said. continues to be aggressive. It's not game planning for Minnesota. It's something that they've done all year, and they're continuing to do it in the playoffs. So, yeah, I mean, great points by Steph Castle there.
All right, let's continue previewing tonight's game 3, Spurs-Wolves, this time in Minnesota. All right, so we did, our game time adjustments, but what player needs to step up for the San Antonio Spurs? Mr. Rudy Campos, who do you got?
Yeah. So for me, I've always been on the bench side, but you know what? Let me get Mr. Devin Vassell. You are in my spotlight, man. Very quick start to the season. Very good season as well. Guy that I was talking about all season long saying, hey, he's hitting the key shots at the right moment. Devin is playing good. Don't get me wrong. He's playing good. But I need to see that next step from Devin Vassell in game 3. Hostile environment. You're going into Minnesota. Talking about the Western Conference semifinals. They play uncharted territory for just about everybody on the Spurs roster. You need Devin Vassell to be a little bit more aggressive. And I don't even need him to take these jump shots anymore. I don't need him to take his Dragon Ball Z jump shot, from the corner where he didn't even touch the floor. He just jumped and made that three. He attacked the basket. Remember at the beginning of the season when Devin was attacking the basket, getting dunks and just getting fouled and ones? That's the Devin Vassell that we need to see. Devin Vassell is the player that we're going to have to watch. He's going to have to be my standout guy for game 3.
Through 2 games already in this series, he's a plus 10 for the Spurs when he's on the court. So he's definitely making an impact there. He's averaging 12 points per game through 2 games versus Minnesota, 5 rebounds, 3.5 assists, and doing it all in 29 minutes. And he's also connecting on 42% of his 3-point shots. So good job, Devin. Overall, that is a good pick. He could be another lethal weapon. We forget about him offensively and defensively, but why more so offensively? Because there's Wemby and Fox and Castle and the list goes on and on. But he can be definitely an issue for any team, not just the Minnesota Timberwolves. He can create his own shot. He can attack the basket, as you mentioned. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, but he's doing good in the series versus Minnesota. Hopefully he'll step up his game even to the next level in game 3. Because man, talk about putting a slight chokehold on the series. If the Spurs can get that home court advantage back, get a 2-1 edge after tonight, that'll be huge. All right, I'm going to stick with this guy because I still need him to show me something, and that is De'Aaron Fox. I got to see him step up more.
What's with the De'Aaron Fox hate, Jeff? Come on.
Yeah, here we go. All right, here we go. No, look, he did well in game 2. He had 16 points, 2 assists, and 2 steals. He was a plus 24. You cannot argue with that. All right. That is phenomenal work. But I need to see him going upwards near 20 points for game 3. I need him to continue to be attacking. He doesn't need to score 20 points. They have balanced scoring. We know offense is not an issue for the Spurs throughout the regular season during the Portland series. But if I could just get him going just a little bit more offensively, put more pressure on the Minnesota defense, get those guys in foul trouble, let Wemby just deal with the defensive end. I would love to see that. I would love to Wemby just to, have a night where he is just, we saw in game 1, and I'd love to see that again in game 3 where he's just a defensive beast because the Spurs have weapons offensively. They don't have to be named Wembayama. They don't have that many weapons on the defense side. They have just one big anchor, and that is the French guy. But De'Aaron Fox, I need him to step up a little bit more in game 3. I'd love to see him be the leading scorer tonight out in Minnesota. All right, Rudy, it is time to get into our predictions. It is hostile territory. Minnesota, Spurs, Wolves. First game in their gym. Rudy, what is your prediction tonight?
Our prediction of 117, 110. San Antonio Spurs come out on top. Block closer game for game 2. But I do expect the Spurs to come out on top with this victory, 117 to 110. Game that I look forward to is I continue to see them playing hard-nosed defense. I continue to see them trap Anthony Edwards. Really rattled him last time. I do expect a guy like Naz Reid or Jaden McDaniels to have a pretty big game because they're going to be double teaming hands. But I do see the Spurs coming out on top. You said De'Aaron Fox was you wanted to be a leading scorer. He's going to be one of the leading scorers but there's a one guy in particular that's going to lead this group. As we've heard, through Star Wars and stuff, Jeff, a young one will emerge as being the leader of this group, and that is one Dylan Harper. So I expect him to have a pretty massive game tonight against Minnesota.
Nice.
117-110. Give me the Spurs.
I'm gonna go with the Spurs in a close game. I think it's gonna be very reminiscent of Game 1. Not to say that the Spurs are dropping the ball as we saw in Game 1, but I think it's just gonna be that ultra competitive. It's gonna I feel it like it's gonna be down to that final 2 minutes. That's gonna decide the game. It's gonna be close. It's gonna be a game of runs. It's gonna be games of massive runs for both sides. It's gonna be a nail biter. I'm predicting a good nail biter, but I think the Spurs are gonna win by 3 or 4 points at the final buzzer and take that commanding 2-1 lead. All right. We gave you our preview of tonight's Game 3, Spurs-Wolves. We need to hear from you. Let Rudy know what you think about his overall thoughts, the game prediction, standout, player to watch, I should say, and key adjustments. And the same thing for me. Did I miss any key adjustments that you like to see the Spurs make from Game 2 to 3? Let me know on X at Jeff G Spurs Zone. You're watching on YouTube. You can see it on your screen right now. Hey, Rudy, before we go, quick PSA to Spurs fans. I get it. It's Spurs in the playoffs. It's been a long time. All that bottled up energy and fanaticism and all that stuff is coming out right now with every playoff win. Spurs fans, y'all are hitting the streets from Commerce Street downtown to Southwest Military Drive on the city's south side and all parts in between. Good for you. Keep on doing that, honking your car horns, have fun. But, Rudy, we're starting to see some not so good things from Spurs fans that we did not see during the Spurs golden years when fans would celebrate, but they would celebrate responsibly. I'm pretty sure there were a few knuckleheads back then too. Yeah. But in this situation, it seems to be escalating. There's video of SAPD in an armored Humvee with, it looks like paintball guns, and I'm assuming there's probably like pepper spray in there or pepper balls. Like they just pop and disperse the crowd. That was on Southwest Military Drive. There was a heavy presence downtown of cop cars everywhere. There's video of that. And then there was another video of fans just getting really, really testy with the cops, pushing and shoving until one guy got thrown to the ground by the cops because he was really getting in their face. Rudy, we need to see Spurs fans relax. So if y'all can please do that for myself and for Rudy Campos, the whole crew here at Spurs In Focus. Party, have fun. Yes, nobody's telling you not to do that, but don't be a knucklehead, all right?
Yeah,
just
you don't want to
celebrate and don't be the wrong end of a viral clip. And don't do that. I know, I get it, Rudy. Kids want to record stuff. They want to get it, make it viral and get the clout. Fine. But you can get clout in other ways by showing fans celebrating and cheering responsibly. Rudy, your thoughts?
Absolutely, man. When we've won our past titles, national media has always praised San Antonio as being a team and a city that celebrates the right way. You're never turned into Boston or New York or LA or anybody where you're starting to see cars turned over and all this other stuff. San Antonio has never done that when we won titles. There's no reason to even start doing that. I get it. Like you said, we're in the age of social media where I want to do something extreme. Why? Because I get that 2 million views, and guess what? I get a paycheck because we did something extreme. It's not worth going to jail. And at the same time, it's not worth possibly losing your life over some of the stuff that could happen. So please, San Antonio, be responsible. Prove to everybody worldwide why San Antonio is such a great city, especially when we are a championship city. We celebrate the right way. We don't do anything wrong. We are brothers and sisters. We always go into the street. We hug each other. We tell each other, hey, we did it. We are champions. Just do it the right way. That's the best way to do it. That's the Spurs way, the right way.
Yeah, absolutely. There was no need to literally, I don't know if you saw this, everybody listening in right now, and Rudy, there were some fans that poured gasoline on Commerce Street and they lit it on fire. Literally, and there was literally a fire just erupted in the middle of downtown. No need for that. No need for again. I'm not saying that back in the Tim Duncan era when they were winning championship, there was not knuckleheads too. Yes, they were. All right. But we didn't see streets getting lit on fire. We didn't see fans getting into all face-to-face like hostile confrontation with the cops, and so on and so forth. So just chill out, relax, have fun, or better yet, how about this? How about we wait to see if the Spurs win the title, then go do that.
Well, no, don't go lit streets on fire.
But don't go flee. Don't know. I don't mean go flipping the car. I mean just go out and celebrate, because that's how they did it back in the day. Spurs fans during the Tim Duncan golden era when they were racking up titles, it wasn't a honking car horns after every single playoff win. It was not until they won the title that it happened. So, and I said, I get it. Y'all want to go out and let loose. Fine. But don't give the police enforcement that's on scene a reason to lock you up. Don't give them a reason to. And just chill out and have fun. Yes, share your videos, share people celebrating. And, I saw good things, from local bakeries handing out free sweetbread to fans on Commerce Street. I saw families with their kids waving the flag. That's great. Do all that, but don't be a dummy. All right, just chill out, relax. You're better than that, Spurs fans. So should the Spurs win tonight, I know it's a Friday night, you don't have to go work, but there's no reason for y'all to go crazy. All right, just keep it cool, keep it classy, keep it chill, just like the Spurs do on that court. He is Mr. Rudy Campos with the Sports Answer, but today I'm going to be the Sports Answer, not Rudy Campos. Rudy, tell everybody what's going on.
Yeah, so the Sports Answer, the Friday Drive is now our big show. So it's myself and Derek Irvin. The day, actually, I won't be there. My daughter has a sports banquet. So daddy duties are calling. I'm going to watch my little girl get her awards. And right now, Jeff Garcia, Spurs In Focus's own Jeff Garcia, part of the Now TV family, is going to be hosting the Friday Drive with Derek Irvin. So be sure to catch it. It starts right around 5:30-ish. So the way to catch it is on Answer Now TV. And we're also going to stream it live on Spurs In Focus since Jeff is hosting. So it's going to be made available everywhere in YouTube and wherever podcasts are available. You're going to be able to see it on X and everything. So be sure to check it out. It's the Sports Answer, the Friday Drive, today with Jeff Garcia and Derek Irvin.
Don't worry, everybody. Rudy will be back soon. He'll be back in the driver's seat just for today only. I believe I'll be there for like about 30 minutes or an hour, something like that. What's the breakdown?
Usually goes about an hour, sometimes
an hour. Okay,
if it gets good. So
all right, cool. Well, look forward to that, everybody. Should be a good show. And again, follow Rudy on X at the Sports Answer and let him know your thoughts on the Spurs Game 3 versus the Wolves and the series in general. Rudy, thank you again for your time. We appreciate it. Everybody else, we thank y'all for making Spurs In Focus your first and only spot for all things San Antonio Spurs. This should be your only spot, your only stop for all things silver and black. Follow us on iTunes, Spotify, Amazon Podcasts, YouTube Music. The list goes on and on. The Spurs In Focus Substack is completely free. Go check it out right now. Just hit subscribe, become an automatic member, and you're in. It's free. I'm not charging anybody. Just go have fun, enjoy all the stuff there. We got game previews. We got fans celebrating in the streets responsibly. We have so much more. Even a barbershop in Bernie, Texas, wanting to give out Spurs-themed haircuts. Go check it out right now. It's at Spurs In Focus. That's why Rudy's off camera right now. He got a Spurs-themed haircut, and he's too shy to show it off. That's exactly why. I knew he was up to something. But we definitely appreciate it.
Dennis Rodman, Demolition Man haircut.
Yeah, exactly. I think you would rock that pretty well. Get the mohawk style.
I think if the Spurs win the title, maybe I'll consider it.
Ooh, go Spurs, go!
Maybe on that.
Yeah, maybe everybody. Listen, he said maybe. He didn't say for sure. He said maybe. I don't know. We'll don't be surprised. I'm not saying. I'm gonna use Rudy's words. Maybe there could be a live show after Game 3 tonight. Don't know. If not, we'll definitely be back on Monday for all things silver and black. So for Mr. Rudy Campos, I am Jeff Garcia, and now you're in focus with Spurs In Focus.